No, don't sit down. Attan da sukan? Oh, good, Anand, good. Good.
Welcome everyone. We are pleased to have guests from all over the United States and Canada. Thank you for coming to these celebrations of Anand's life. Anand passed away suddenly on Tuesday morning while sleeping. He suffered from an unexpected medical complication which ultimately caused his heart to stop beating. Paramedics rushed to his home and tried their best to revive him, but they were not successful. While he is no longer with us, as you can see from the video, Anand has brought incredible joy to our family ever since he was a little kid. I appreciate his sister Abhi for putting together those memories. Over the years, Anand has received many tickets from Smith and Hub Houston to watch sports and concerts. He would ask me to come with him to these games, and we would go together. I am so thankful for these experiences. Earlier this year, Anand called me and said he wanted to go to a Texan game with me. Anand took his own initiative, researched tickets online, and bought two tickets with the money he earned. That game is next week. Texans and Colts. Anand beta, you were my best friend, and I was so excited to go with you next Sunday. God had a different plan, but I want you to know you will be always be my best friend. Love you so much, Dad.
जय श्री कृष्ण.
Jai Sri Krishna.
On behalf of the entire Smith family, I would like to extend our deepest condolences to Anand's family. We're so sorry for your loss. Anand first came into our lives in the fall of 2016 as part of a joint employment initiative between Smith and the Hub. I fondly remember the day, which started with a brief meet and greet, followed by a tour of the warehouse. Coach and Adrian were there. So was Anand and some other students from the hub. As we walked through the warehouse, I remember seeing how enthralled Anand was with being in the environment, the sights, the sounds, and the amazing people. As we entered our functional test lab, his face lit up. He was mesmerized and absorbing everything that was being said. I thought to myself, we found his spot. We hired Anand in November of 2016 as a part-time employee. In an effort to ease his transition into his new job, I paired him with a mentor, Lee Hong. Those first few days, Adrian was there with him as well, all in an effort to make Anand feel safe and comfortable. It took 2 days for him to adapt to his unique environment, his colleagues, and he began to feel at home. So much so that by the third day, he looked over at Adrian and was like, "Why are you still here?" I got it. So I remember briefly visiting with Adrian as she made her way out, somewhat dejected, right? Shocked and disappointed. And, we spent a little time talking to each other. We looked at each other, and I said to her, "Well, all righty then, let's go." As the years passed, Anand excelled at Smith, aided by several mentors along the way: Lee Hong, JT, Tommy, and David. His role expanded. We changed his title and made him a full-time Smith employee in 2020. Anand worked in our functional test lab, where he tested all types of components. He exhibited meticulous attention to detail, learned quickly, and was exceptionally good at his job. He was a diligent worker who always got the job done. Anand was one of us. He loved being with his colleagues at work and attending the various events we had over the years with his father. Smith became his second home. It was his sanctuary, a place where he could be himself, a place where he was wholeheartedly accepted and loved, free from judgment, a place where he was part of a team, a family, a place where he could be part of something bigger. I had the distinct privilege of witnessing Anand's evolution from a young boy, guarded and unsure about his unfamiliar environment, into a mature, confident, and independent young man. Anand was a pioneer, a trailblazer that paved the way for others to follow. His smile was warm and infectious, and his heart was pure. He approached life head on and never let his circumstance deter him. He has left an impression on all of us, and his legacy will forever endure deep within our hearts. Anand said it best when discussing his goals for the future. "I know there will be obstacles along the way," he said, "but the sky is the limit for whatever journey I go on."
I've only known Anand for the last 6 or 7 years since he has been at Smith, but watching these videos and seeing him as a little boy with that same smile and that same bright outlook on life, I just want to let you know that he's carried this through. We saw it to the very last day. He has so many friends and so much support. As Art said, he was a huge person that paved the way for his community. And not only is it me and Art representing Smith, but there are, I don't know how many of us family that are out here in the audience, and I hope everybody feels that they made a big difference in his life as much as he made such a big difference.
My name is Coach Russo, and I've had the honor and privilege of being a part of Anand's life for the last 17 years. I was his mentor, his coach, and in the past few years we were friends. As you can imagine, I have so many memories and stories of the amazing Anand. If I have to consolidate all of his amazing qualities, the ones that jump out are perseverance, determination, amazing sense of humor, and love of his community. Anand knew from a very young age what he wanted in his life, and he knew he had a lot to do a lot of hard work to get there, and he was willing to do it. He never gave up. He accomplished one amazing feat at a time. Graduating from high school, getting his first job, and then he showed us because he got 2 first jobs and wouldn't let go of either one. Graduated from HCC, got a full-time job in the amazing company called Smith, went on vacations, planned outings with his friends, joined community events at every one, never missed one. He accomplished all the things that we all want in our lives. He was a role model for all of us. Giving up was never an option. And he let us know in every different way that there was no stopping him. He showed us all that friends and family, even though he wouldn't admit it, were the most important thing in his life. Everyone that met Anand loved Anand. Anand, you made me a better person. I hope you learn from me as much as I learned from you. Anand, thank you. I love you, and I will miss you forever.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I was Anand's math teacher and mentor, his neighbor, and his friend. All eyes were always on Anand. It always reminded me of the Ralph Waldo Emerson quote that says, "That which dominates our imagination and our thoughts will determine our lives and our character." And Anand was at the heart of so many people's thoughts. If the mind's focus shapes one's spiritual path, then surely he was a god of some entire cosmos. Maybe an unwilling God. People were pulled toward him like so many moons from different ages and faiths, careers, and backgrounds, and I was extremely grateful to be one of his satellites. While at the hub, we went to the Great Lakes together, and Anand learned how to milk a goat, bake tart cherry pies, fillet a fish, He swam in Lake Michigan, and he set off fireworks over Sturgeon Bay. We went to Vermont together, and Anand learned how to craft wooden stools using green chair-making techniques. He slept in a yurt, and he learned about the wild animals of the area. We had many adventures together. I admired him, and I was delighted by him. When my son was born, he gave him his first baby rattle, and then eagerly shared with his cousins that Alexander's first contact with Aditi was to throw up on him. He lit divas with my son, and he read to him, and I'm so grateful for that. Those gifts were more than I was ever able to give to him. I will remember his vulnerability, his conviction in the possibility for growth, his striving for connection, and his biting humor. We love you, Anand. Thank you for letting me share my memories of this wonderful man.
So, there for his friends. He never gave up on any of his friends, no matter what part of life they were in, what bounds they were willing to go through to try to keep them to give up on him. He would stick through it till the end. He was a hard worker, intelligent. You could talk to him about anything and he would turn it into a joke. He and I, we were just planning like a few weeks ago a trip to New York. He was and he was like, "Are we going here? Are we going there? Are we going there? Are we going there? What about here?" We were going, and then we finally decided to just stay there for 2 months and just see everything. Those were the types of things Anand would do. He was fun. If you were having a bad time and you could talk to him about something. I talked to him a lot about stuff that happened in my family after my mom gave me approval to. But yeah, he was big like my brother. We became very close very quickly too. In the sense that even now I still call him. It's sad that but and it was an honor being friends with him, a very big honor for me. Because there have been times in life for me with him that it was just that I've been super down, and he would just be like, as soon as I called him, he would just be like, "Man, just forget about it." He would try to turn the conversation into this joke, funny sort of path, and just keep your hopes up. And usually he was right. It always did get better. He really says everything the best. Life gets better over time. Nothing stays constant. And Abhi would hang out with us. Abhi hung out with us like a few times. It was really like a as friends and family can be. I hung out at his place quite a bit. He's also hung out at my place quite a bit. And there were times where those two would walk off and be like, they're joking around too much for us. And then there were, like the one time at Abhi's wedding, where Anand just totally says, ouch, you're breakdancing too much. You come back to reality. He was that person. He would bring out your fun side and then he could bring out your serious side. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to love him. But we will all see him eventually. Look, I love you, man. See you.
Well, when Anand, Hank, and I were at Dixie Doo Ranch, we had fun riding horses together. What Anand meant to me was when he took me to Gringos and when we went to the Wisconsin trip back in 2016. He even went on most of his adventures with me. I have known Anand since we started Monarch together in 2013. Well, Miss Anand is in being my roommate. He even came to this idea of doing the lobby together. He taught us to eat with our hands. It was the first time eating with my fingers when I was in his throat. Even though I do not like Indian food, I love you, Anand, and I'll miss you.
Attention, everyone. So Anand's dead. The day passed away. And he's heaven. It always plays of God, but to believe him. And I'm so sorry if they always been an angel, right? And they always need to forgive me to ourselves. Everyone looks upset. And they were sad, right? And I miss Anand too, right? But this is terrible, right? And that makes no sense. And he had a seizure, right? I'm going to say, but being part of me, that's just always an excuse. I am always to be like worship, as just always be prayed as I love. And I like Anand too, right? And he's this nice guy. And I always be in friendship, so to being together, right? For the roommates, I had a fun time to be wholly impressed. And we've been traveling from Dixie Doo Ranch, New Orleans, and Galveston, right? And it was so nice for the vacation, right? I'm always to be such a really adorable, right? And so always be there, loved, and to be honest. As I always be ready to respect for the things, what is going on in his mind, and tell what happened, right? To you. I'm waiting already be in the relationship, right? As being success, right? As we only we know about my heart, yeah, for it being loved, right? As my parents and your family, right? To be together, right? I have bought for the trip to Walkdale, right? I've been to the traveling, right? And it was awesome, right? I wanted to thank everyone. It's always been very generous and being excitement. Day is, I hope you enjoy it and you're being loved and being sweet. Right? I will say thank you for things for everyone. Yes. Thank you. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take this moment to share a few words to my very dear friend, Anand Chokshi. I remember the special times that we were together. The one time at Club Hub, I just saw his beautiful face. He smiled at me while I was looking at my phone, thinking about what I should do to get through this day. And when he looked at me, I felt like there was already a friend that really was trying to connect. So, when I see Anand, I always see him very, very happy, always laughing at humorous jokes, dancing endlessly to Bollywood songs. I couldn't keep my energy with him because he was so good. And I've had beautiful hangouts with him and with his health friends. We swam, we drank a lot, we ate good, delicious deep fried food because it's craving. And we also just spent some quality time together around with him. And those moments weren't just about having fun. They were a way to truly connect and share the joy with Anand. His name means joy. He gave joy to everyone in his workplace, his family, and to everyone that just knew him well. Anand's sincere words always had a way of resonating with me. He would be true to himself, and he would take nothing, not the slightest thing, that goes in his way. His encouragement was not only just advice. It was just a spark that motivated people to keep going forward even when times are tough. And that is something that I admire about Anand. He just kept going. Whether he was tired, he kept the willpower very strong. And I truly live by that. I'm incredibly grateful to have known Anand for his achievements, his warmth and kindness that touched everyone that knew him. May his soul rest in peace, and may we carry his spirit with us always. Anand, you will always be my dear friend.
Hi, I'm Shalom, one of Anand's friends from the Hub. I'm very sorry for the loss of Anand, and I had special memories of him. We were fond of each other's company. The memories I had of him were at Club Hub together, such as the weekend events, particularly the mall and the park, hanging out together at our houses, and now he invited me to play bingo. It was really sweet of him to think of me and invite me for something that he thought I would enjoy. That was the sweetness of his spirit. I asked him questions how he was doing, how his work was going for him, his life. I will miss being around him, but his memory will live forever in my heart. Thank you.
Hi everyone, we are going to switch the order slightly and we will have Dr. Neal speak first.
And as Anand said, it's going to be legend. And Anand is a legend. I'm thinking today of how difficult it is to give back a gift which you have received. And in 2007,
Monarch School received a gift. And the gift was Anand and his family. And come with the gift came learning about other cultures. It came with Anand's skill at accepting others and folding them in. It came with the joy of knowing the Chokshi family. It all came in the door with Anand. And I loved it when I heard that Anand's name is joy. Because joy it's just something that we can feel. We can feel it in laughter. And as the young adults have shared with us, they've also been joy in being known and being accepted and hanging out. And the laughter is part of that. Now, one thing that we did not know was that in 2007, right before Anand came to Monarch, he'd had a devastating seizure. And he almost died. And God did not take him to himself or herself at that time. God said, I'll give this gift another chance, another way to help all of us. So he gave us to Monarch. And I wanted to, and here's the connection here. In light of his stroke, Anand needed to kind of put the world back together again out of neurological difference. And so the thing that we tried to offer to Anand was 4 things. We said that we will come and Alex, and are any of the Monarch people willing to stand up? Stand up and look and see that. And I'm enjoyed to see you. But we made the same promise to Anand that we made to every one of these people, and that we would help them move on to better self-regulation. And that we would help them with smoother ways of making decisions, and we called it executive functions. And we promised them that we would help them and be a home for relationship development. And when we found out their dreams for what they wanted to do and to learn, we would help them with their competence. And Anand came to that somewhat shy. Can you imagine that your world, your brain has sort of had a shock, and it doesn't know how exactly to put that back together again? And that's what was going on in 2017 and 2007. And we made that promise, and Anand lived that journey. And I'm looking here at some of the things that the faculty came to recognize about Anand. They said this was his award the year before he graduated. Anand is a conscientious student. He is a proud member of the Geek Squad. And he was able to say, I'm working late. I'll be in the After Hours Club Award. But there wasn't an assignment that Anand didn't complete. Those of you who stood up, didn't you really be jealous of him and hate him sometimes? And you said, well, if Anand did it, what about that? That wasn't so hard to do. And it was about leadership first, volunteering, completing projects. And one of the things that began to characterize Anand was this special skill that he had to make other people feel welcome and to make help other people on their projects. Like Alex was saying, no, it's not that hard. Come on. To soothe people forward became a hallmark of Anand's life. As he got more confident, as he got funnier, as he was able to look at all of us and say, you are a little quirky. And to Dr. Neal, I'll tell you one story that I was famous for challenging Anand to a battle. I say, get ready, get ready, get ready. And sometimes I would start the battle. But one afternoon we decided that the roles would change. And it was at carpool time. And Anand and I made an agreement to kind of poke at his dad. His dad was in line, and Anand and I made a deal that we would both be out on the lawn, and Anand would get very, very mad and say, I've had it with you, Dr. Neal, and I'm throwing you down on the ground. And we did that to have fun with Dad. Um, the last award on this frame was I truly know the journey of the Monarch. He came to live it, represent it, and then there was a time in 2014 that it was time to pass on the gift. And we all know that as an ethic, that if we received a gift, you pass it on. And it's easy to pass on a gift, isn't it? It's easy to pass on a gift. And so we passed on to the hub, and we passed on to Smith, we passed on to the Geek Squad, and we encouraged, and we knew that. And today, I do not think about this as goodbye to Anand. I think about this as our way that God has called Anand to another higher purpose. Anand is with us today. His spirit will be with us for the next several days, and then he will go on to that next mission. Maybe he'll, as Julia said, maybe he'll be in nirvana. Maybe his soul will come back and make someone else's life so much better with all the things that he has given us, that he will now give them to others. I wish, that was one of the themes of the graduation talk that we gave to Anand when he graduated, which was that we're all moving on. And what a great example Anand has given us about courage. It's ironic that as I came to know Anand 17 years ago, it was a seizure that brought him to me. And it is a seizure now that sends him on to his next journey. We love Anand. We celebrate his joy. All the things that you've heard about from Anand, from all the speakers. That's how he gave his gifts to us. We thank God. We thank the Chokshi family for sharing that gift with us. Thank you.
शक्ति देना मन विजय करे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना, भेदभाव अपने दिल से साफ कर सके, दूसरों से भूल हो तो माफ कर सके, झूठ से बचे रहे, सच का दम भरे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय कर हमको मन की शक्ति देना। जय श्री कृष्ण। आनंद, आई मिस यू, आई लव यू।
I just wanted to let people know there are spaces on the ledge on this side for those of you who are standing and like to sit. You can just move down this way.
My name is Premal, and I'm honored to speak on behalf of Anand's extended family, and in particular, his cousins. There's about 30 or so of us spread across the US and Canada, first and second cousins. And Anand was the youngest of us. He was a kid brother to many of us. He was the heart of our group. One of our cousins this week noted that we have this group WhatsApp thread, that thread would just be kind of this empty place where you just wish happy birthday so often without Anand. But with Anand, he'd post just kind of his adventures here in Houston and really around. I just want to read some of those WhatsApp posts from him, because it really just triggered this cascade of comments from all the other cousins and just bring life to the whole group. Hey everyone, I'm at a dude ranch. Big picture of cows. Just won $850 in bingo. Big picture of Anand grinning year to year. This one was my favorite. I just watched the new Avatar movie. And Aditi picked me up after the movie and asked me if Avatar is related to Black Panther. And I said, hell no. I like to think that this disconnect between Anand and his sisters created an opening for some big brother energy. And so I'm 20 years older than him, but that really kind of, as he hit his late teens and early 20s, we just started talking more and more. And, what matters to a guy in his 20s? It's like two things: making money and meeting girls. So, I was the expert on that. In Anand's mind, I felt great. And it really created a bond for us. We did all these things to try to make money. So, we opened up, like the basics, like we opened up a brokerage account and we picked blue chip stocks together. But then we started getting a little crazy and buying crypto, which was foolish, at least for me and him. And then we went to a 3-day conference in Scottsdale, Arizona on home flipping. And it was this ridiculous seminar, and we had such a blast together. And we didn't recoup the cost of that conference, but it was just things like that. Meeting girls, we set up his online profile. We took a bunch of headshots, and we would A/B test the headshots to see what would get more clicks, and we would stress over the words in outreach to a girl that he thought it was cute, and we struck out a lot together. And I just think that shared struggle, I just brought us closer. I think most of our cousins here would agree that our favorite memories with him were at our weddings, at our weddings. And the cool thing about Anand is that he was game. He would dance in all the choreographed Bollywood numbers. He did the worm at Sahil's wedding. That was awesome. And he and I were commonly roommates, and we'd make this kind of, wedding wingman pact. And I can't tell you all the things that go into the pact. That's just between me and Anand. But I can tell you it involves deep loyalty during the weekend to be game for whatever the other person wants to do that weekend. And so at one of these weddings, I noticed that in the hotel there was another wedding going on, and I was like, "Hey, Anand, we got to go crash that other wedding." And if you know Anand, he is super rule driven. So he's deeply conflicted. But then he was also a foodie, and he loved his cocktail hour hors d'oeuvres. And he stayed true to the pact, and we snuck in, and we had the best time. It was so fun just being these imposters, sampling all these different hors d'oeuvres at the wedding next door. We were kind of giddy in the mischief of it all. Yeah, I'm going to miss my wingman at these events. Last year, I got to see Anand in a new way. He came to my home in San Francisco, and
San Francisco, a fashion city and county.
some snark from Anand. I love it. It's perfect. I have a 7-year-old son with some neurological differences, and usually when someone comes to visit, he doesn't really want to engage, especially if you're an adult. It's just so boring to him. And Anand, it was just like the opposite experience. It was so magical watching Anand with my son, because Anand had this wonderful way of drawing him out. And then he discovered that my son was into Star Wars and Marvel and Pokemon, and Anand just started kind of blowing his mind with knowledge, and my son was hanging on every word. My son this week, when he found out the news, said that he's really going to miss his Anand Kaka, which is really special. And I got to see my kid brother become like this wizened mentor for the next generation. And I think that's the thing about Anand for a lot of us in the room, is kind of the joy that we feel in our hearts over his life, where he kind of did something that was really just kind of made you realize how much he's grown. There was this beautiful moment 7 years ago at Abhi and Rick's wedding, his sister's wedding, where he got up, the DJ said, "Okay, now the brother of the bride's gonna give a toast." And Anand, I think a lot of you will remember, he got up and he had this tuxedo on, and he looked so svelte, and got up and he just gave the toast of a lifetime. And the whole room, our hearts were filled. And he just came into his own. He's such an incredible young man. And I was thinking this week about the family he's born into and how lucky he was. He learned from his dad the value of hard work and determination. He learned from you, Janaki Mommy, his mom, the value of order and structure in a real chaotic world. And from you, Aditi, you learned that Indeed, his boundaries were his quest, and that by pushing to his limits, he could achieve new potential and lead a luminous life. And Abhi, you taught him that he was accepted no matter who he was, that he always was unconditionally loved. You four put him at the center of your worlds. And in the days and weeks and months to come, just know that over the last 30 years, just as you have been watching over him, he's now going to be watching over you. And just as you were cheering him on to help him reach his goals, I think he's up there somewhere in the sky at maybe the Fleming Steakhouse in heaven right now. With an old-fashioned cocktail in hand, cheering you four on to help you reach your goals. On behalf of the cousins and the entire extended family, we're going to miss Anand. We loved him very much, and we love you, his family, very much.
From the bottom of our hearts, बहुत ही दिल से, शुक्रिया, आभार, thank you for celebrating Anand today and each and every day. His soul graced this world with us. I didn't really write a speech. It really stressed a lot of people who love me out. I think this day was just so full of love. It was also imperfect. Like, I can just hear my brother's voice going, and forgive me, this is going to include the sailor's mouth that my brother had. But he would have been like, it was kind of a shit show at ED. But like, everyone was loving everyone. I just wanted to share some stories. There's no real, what I wanted to do was to leave you with this eulogy that could stitch together his life's defining moments, his essence, this eternal bond. But I'm in a state of shock, and so my memory is failing me. But what I can do is just share whatever randomly has come to mind from what people have shared. He was always teaching us how to be so authentically ourselves, unabashed, but still be in community with each other. I think a perfect moment that kind of summarizes it all was, I forget his cousin's wedding, but I found a perfect kayaking spot 20 minutes away. And we had just enough time between the wedding and his beloved cocktail hour. So sure enough, we gathered a tribe of cousins. We drove out, we kayaked. Anand got to really be that leader to the next generation. I love that ending video of Anand driving the ship with a lot of our beloved cousins' children at the front. And And so we kayaked, and then we had 2 cars that could go back. And as I sometimes did, I told my white lie. There was actually enough space in my car for Anand. But I took Dimple and Dimple's kids. I wanted Anand to get a little bit more one-on-one time with Premal. He cherished it, and it was so rare. So we went on our way. We arrived on time. We were at cocktail hour. Premal's car got a little bit late. All I Do Is Win was on the radio. And Premal just kept missing his exits. But then in the family folklore, it was Aditi made me late to that wedding. He was also just so quick-witted. Him and Julia shared this special bond, and Julia was his neighbor, a great gift, in Houston, to just have someone you love so much randomly walking distance from your home. And so Mom, in her effervescent generosity, would often just give random Indian snacks to Anand to deliver to Julia. And he's like, don't make me do your dirty work. And here's like a common conversation. He'd be like, don't make me do your dirty work. And I'd be like, or one of us would be like, but it's Julia, she loves Indian stuff. And he'd go, you think she loves Indian stuff? And I go, if she didn't, she would tell me. And she's like, people don't tell you the truth, Aditi. And then I was like, well, has she told you she doesn't like Indian stuff? And then he's like, fine. And he'd march over to Julia's place, dutifully leaving a package from my mom. He captures a lot. I really wish this was so different. I just wish this was different. Because my brother had such a journey ahead. He had a zeal for living life. He loved connection. And he had a wry, brilliant perspective on the world. To see the world through Anand's eyes was to see joy, adventure, humor, and mischief in everything. I'm sorry I haven't been able to sort of put together that right eulogy. But what I have done is kind of look out this week and just see how much of my brother is in all of you and vice versa. His humor, and where did this come from, is such a poetic question that we will keep talking about. This week it was Adrian or someone who shared with me that Nathan, one of his beloved mentors, just kind of had the wisdom to take a shy kid who wasn't able to make eye contact, and they'd have kind of smack talk lessons. So thanks, Nathan. You honed the talent well. But what I really realized is this week, I looked out at my dad, and my father, who truly, and I mean truly, never thinks a negative thought about anybody. All of you have somehow managed to make my father laugh his heartiest laughs that I have ever heard him laugh. This week, that zeal and that joy, it comes from my father. and we honor him today. On Tuesday, when we all got some version of a horrible call, I had gotten to Anand's place. He was pronounced as having passed from this world shortly after. A few key members of his life were there. And then my mama and my mommy did their dharma duty. They drove my mother over. And my mother sat beside Anand. And in that inconsolable moment, she reached across my brother's body. And it was Coach's dharma that she could be right there. And in a mother's inconsolable grief, my mother reached out and she said, and Coach received it on behalf of everyone in this community. She reached out and she said, "Thank you for everything you've done for my son." That magnanimous generosity of my mother in a moment of incomparable grief, that is Anand's bid for connection in his own way, always. Dharma is often described as duty, but I always have felt that is a connotation that is too caught up in obligation. I think it is more a divine calling, a kind of calling that sets you free. And so we too, as Anand siblings, have tried our hardest to do our dharma. He had two unruly sisters who often had different points of view, but he needed both of them. He needed both of them. There's no perfect moment. And the only reason this one comes to mind is because there's a photo of it that's been in Mom and Dad's room this week. But it was summer after a harrowing January. Anand had escaped death. We were on vacation to Switzerland. I was doing really annoying things like, let's walk 2 hours around Paris to find all the chocolate stores, only for the chocolate store to be closed and my brother to go, "You can't do anything right, Aditi." In Switzerland, there was this huge mountain, and just like a side rope and an epic zip line. And I was like, "Anand, let's go." And then what played out is a common scene. There was a cacophony of Gujarati behind me. My mom and my dad debating if I'd lost it or not. My sister kind of standing back, taking it in so wisely. I went up with Anand. it was right at that cusp of quest. Like, the snow was really deep. We had no snowshoes on. Like, neither of us have real, I'd spent 4 years in New York at that point, but he kept saying, Aditi, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I said, just one step, just one step. And we went up for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He had to stop a lot. I had to say, excuse me, a lot. People had to pass us a lot. But he got to the top. And whether he could see her or not, my sister had walked all the way to the other side. And so as he was valiantly going down that zip line, no one would suspect a few months ago had nearly lost everything. It was my sister who captured the shot and who was there to receive him. So he needed both of us. There were only a few places of Aditi Anand overlap, we'd call it. If I played any role in all of this, it was merely to assemble a cast of characters. And to do the quiet work that goes on in between scenes, behind the scenes, pushing to make a few more scenes. My sister liked to read.
Anand, my dear buddy, my best buddy, I want you to know how much you mean to me. I'm going to miss you so much, dear, dear brother. I'll miss our playful moments, such as we both jump on Aditi in her bed, pulling her hair, yelling infinity and beyond when you would come back from Monarch. Our movie nights and our heartfelt daily conversations together. You are truly such a gem and a beautiful piece of my heart. And I'll always cherish our bond for eternity.
My brother loved a good biopic, a good action comedy. He lived a full life. And as I thought of what I could share that was not already filling the room, I just kept asking myself, what turns a life well lived into a legend? How does the tale of one boy become a biopic? How does a family or a community turn into a khandan? And if I go back to Aditi Anand overlap, we'd both agree, actually, that this idea that a good story is the quest between, or the battle between good and evil, is at best a little boring, kind of basic. My brother would be the first to tell you he was no saint. I think what turns a life into a legend, a person's memory into that grand biopic. What makes a Khandan is to know that to live a valorous life, to live valiantly, means you look out, you notice the tenderness, the vulnerability. The cast of characters gets this interesting, that the bond gets this unbreakable, that in the most unshakable moment you can imagine we can laugh this much. That only happens if you realize that with valor comes that vulnerability. My brother's legacy lives on to the extent that we build that kind of community, that we pay forward his gift in that way. I just wish this was so different. It's impossible to end something like this, so then we turn to tradition. My brother's soul has joined some souls in our family. His beloved Bhai Kaka, Anand Chokshi, who we just lost a week ago. His beloved grandparents, Sarmista and Bhubatlal Desai, and Govindlal and Jetiba Chokshi. His beloved Mahendra Kaka, his beloved Manalal Fua. Anand, we love you. I love you so much. I will eat a steak on your birthday.
At Fleming's.
At Fleming's. And I will make sure everyone sees this, which is an evolution of his cheese pie hand into a collection of photos where he'd secretly flick me off and relish it. You taught us so much. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you. We love you all, and please don't remember that this love, the thread, the courage, the through thread is my Anand, our Anand. We love you. So, Anthony will say a few words, and a really lovely uncle whose name I'm forgetting is going to, Vishwajit Bhai, will share a poem. So, and then we will have Anthony share with us how we can each, if we wish, have our final moment with my brother.
Jai Shri Krishna. આનંદના જન્મદિવસે પણ અમે હાજર હતા. આજે એના પવિત્ર આત્માને અંતિમ વિદાય વખતે મારે હાજર આ ફેમિલી સાથે 40 વર્ષ પહેલાંનો 40 વર્ષથી સંબંધ છે. એ સંબંધ કેમ ભૂલાય? આજે આનંદને ભાવસભર એક શ્રદ્ધાંજલિ કવિતા લખી છે. હું સમય નહીં લઉં. શબ્દો મારા છે પણ ભાવ બધા જયંતભાઈ અને જાનકીબેનના છે. એના હૃદયના ભાવો મેં શબ્દમાં કંડાર્યા છે, શબ્દોમાં લખ્યા છે. અમારો વહાલો દીકરો આવ્યો છે. અમારો વહાલો દીકરો આવ્યો છે આપના મંગલ મંદિરમાં. અમારો વહાલો દીકરો આવ્યો છે આપના મંગલ મંદિરમાં. હે પ્રભુ, આપના દ્વાર ખોલી, હે પ્રભુ આપના દ્વાર ખોલી આનંદને પરમ શાંતિ તું આપજે. આનંદને પરમ શાંતિ તું આપજે. અમારે આંગણે આનંદનો ઉલ્લાસ બની ખુશીઓનો ગુલાલ લઈને આવ્યો હતો. અમારે આંગણે આનંદનો ઉત્સવ બની ખુશીઓનો ગુલાલ એ લાવ્યો હતો. અમારી પ્રેમ ભરી આંખ ભીંજાવી, અમારી પ્રેમ ભરી આંખ ભીંજાવી આપને આંગણે આવ્યો છે. આપને આંગણે આવ્યો છે. નાનો બાળ માની બહુ લાડ લડાવી, નાનો બાળક માની બહુ લાડ લડાડી. પ્રભુ તું પરમ શાંતિ આપજે. પ્રભુ તું પરમ શાંતિ આપજે. મા બાપની છત્ર છાયા તળે, મા બાપની છત્ર છાયા તળે સંતાન સુખ દીધું છે. સંતાન સુખ બહુ દીધું છે. હવે બસ હવે તારો સંતાન બની, તારો સંતાન માની તાળા ખોળે એને લાડથી રમાડજે. એને લાડથી રમાડજે. અમારી યાદના કુંજમાં સદૈવ કોયલ બની ટહુકતો રહેશે. અમારી યાદના કુંજમાં કાયમ કોયલ બની ટહુકતો રહેશે. આનંદના આત્માને સુખના સૂરજનું હે પ્રભુ તું તેજ આપજે. હે પ્રભુ સૂરજનું તેજ તું આપજે. અમારી અંતિમ પ્રાર્થના પ્રભુ તું આજ સ્વીકારજે. પ્રભુ તું આજ સ્વીકારજે. અમારા દીકરા આનંદને તારો સંતાન માની તું સંતાન સુખ આપજે હે પ્રભુ તું સંતાન સુખ આપજે ઓમ શાંતિ થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ
પુષ્પાંજલિની શરૂઆત કરીએ પહેલા 1 મિનિટ મૌન પાળીશું પરંતુ આ મૌન પાળીએ પહેલા છેલ્લા 25-26 વર્ષથી સમાજના સારા માઠા કાર્યક્રમોમાં અને પ્રોગ્રામમાં અને આવી વિધિમાં હું આવેલો છું અંતઃકરણપૂર્વક આજે જયેન્દ્રભાઈ જાનકીબેન એની દીકરી અદિતિ અને અભી અને પરિવારના સભ્યો દ્વારા આજની અંત્યેષ્ટિ સંસ્કાર ગીતા ઘણીવાર વાંચી છે ગીતા ઘણીવાર વંચાવી છે ગીતા ઘણીવાર સાંભળી છે પણ ગીતામાં જે આપ્યું છે એ રીતની અંત્યેષ્ટિ આજે પહેલી વાર જોઈ બદલ હું અભિનંદન આપીશ અદિતિને અભીને અને ભાઈ જયેન્દ્રભાઈ અને એમના ધર્મપત્ની અને ખાસ આનંદ સાથે રહેલી એની સંસ્થાના દરેક સભ્યોને પણ સેલ્યુટ કરીને એમના જીવનને વધારે તમે ચરિત્રવાન બનાવીને આગળ ચાલો અને also I want to thank Dr. Neal. He did a wonderful job. જીવનમાં અમે ઘણીવાર સાંભળ્યું છે જોયું છે સમજ્યું છે પણ સાચા અર્થની અંદર અંત્યેષ્ટિ હું અહીંયા બેઠો હૃદયથી વિચારતો હતો કે ઘણીવાર તમે વર્ષો સુધી ભણો એ તમને શીખવા ના મળે પણ તમને 5 મિનિટમાં કે 10 મિનિટમાં એ પ્રસંગ તમને આખા જીવનનું સાતત્ય શીખવાડી દે તો ખાસ કરીને અદિતિ અને એની બંને બહેનો એના પરિવારનો પ્રભુ પાસે ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર અને સદગત આત્માને સદગતિ પ્રાપ્ત થાય એટલી પ્રાર્થના માટે just everybody have to take 1 minute please. ઓમ શાંતિ શાંતિ શાંતિ. જયેન્દ્રભાઈના અને જાનકીબેનના પરિવારના બે સભ્યોને ભૂલી જાવ તો નવું ગણાવ જ્યારથી આનંદે અનંત યાત્રાની શરૂઆત કરી ત્યારથી એમના મામી પરેશાબેને જહેમત ઉઠાવી દીકરીઓને અને પરિવારમાં એક પ્રકારની વ્યવહારિકતાને સાથે હાથમાં લઈ લીધી એ બદલ એમના ખાસ કરીને દેવેશભાઈ અને પરેશાબેન કારણ કે આ બધું પરિવારમાં તો હું તમે બધા ઘણા બધા હોઈએ છીએ પણ સમયે કામ આવવું અને સમયે સાચું કામ આવવું એ જ પારિવારિકતાની નિશાની છે એ બદલ હું તો પરેશાબેનને અને એમના માતા પિતાને અને એમના સંસ્કારોને નમસ્કાર કરું છું પ્રભુ પાસે પ્રાર્થના કરી હવે આપણે પુષ્પાંજલિ માટેની શરૂઆત કરીએ તો જસ્ટ હું આપણા સામાન્ય નિયમો પ્રમાણે દરેકે પાછળથી આવી પુષ્પાંજલિ અર્પિત કરી પરિવારના સભ્યોને મળીને અહીંથી પસાર થઈને એ લોકો પછી અદિતિને જે પ્રમાણે કહે એ પ્રમાણે આગળ વધીએ અહીં આપણે એ સાથે શ્રદ્ધાંજલિ નાની એવી પ્રભુની ધૂન અને એ પણ અહીંયા ચાલુ રાખીશું.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for being here today, for the Chokshi family, to all of the special memories, to the things that were said today. Thank you so much. Beautiful crowd, beautiful crowd. So right now it is the Pushpanjali. I said that right. And what that is what we are going to do is we're going to start a line on this side. You're going to come up on this side. It's my left, your right of the chapel. And you are going to come up and have a final pass. And by doing that, if you would like to offer a blessing in with rose petals into the casket today, you are more than welcome to do that. I would suggest that we start with the ones who are already standing. Thank you so much for doing that today. I know that it was a big crowd and there wasn't seats for everybody, but we will start with those, and then it'll kind of be self-coordinated. So once they come through, you will see if we can start from the back, because we want the family to be the last ones to do that. So that is what we will do today. Following the Pushpanjali, the placing the flowers in the final pass, we will be going to the back for the remaining part of our service, which is the cremation service. So we will be going back there for that. Those of you who feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to follow us back there and go as far as you can. But if you do not want to do that and you stay in here, the family does request that you just mingle amongst yourselves and talk about him and memories today. There is plenty of room to do that. There's memorials set up all over, and I know that we all came in kind of at once. And so once we go to the back, while we're doing that, please walk around and look at those and offer memories. There is a spot outside in the hallway that has a big black poster board. There are little sticky notes. If you could please sign one of those and share a memory, but also sign your name. That's kind of the place of their register book today. So we do ask that you do that. So thank you so much. We're going to start the Pushpanjali at this time.